least 25 to 35 billion shillings for us to spend it on the areas that are critical, on infrastructure, on ensuring that we have an environment of security so that we can create more investment, because our target is to grow this economy by double digits and to ensure that there are jobs for young people.
Okay. What is the place of corruption in all this? You have come into this government. We saw the Auditor General, for example, but that was in 2011-2012 budget, saying wastage is still going on. 338 billion shillings could not be accounted for at that time. Currently, we have 56 cases by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Correct.
Corruption.
Correct.
You're telling people to take pay cuts. You're telling people you're trying to save this country. Some are arguing and are thinking, I take pay cuts and still this gets wasted in corruption, inflated tenders and everything. What would you say you have done? Bold measures, not just things that you're saying you've done to fight corruption. Is there anything you have to show for the last 1 year, you and the president, the executive, that has fought corruption?
Let me ask you.
Do you agree that money is wasted in corruption?
I agree.
So what have you done?
We agree that money is wasted in corruption. We agree that money is wasted in mismanagement. We agree that there is privilege.
Is there anything that has been done about it?
Absolutely. 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 We have changed the way government operates. That's why I'm telling you, the kind of money we've spent to buy vehicles for the police, it would have bought a quarter of the vehicles we bought. But because we were bold enough to say, we are not going to do this thing the way it has been done, that you have to pay for every vehicle and pay more because it is a government procedure. We've changed that. We've changed security purchases. We are getting more equipment for the same amount of money spent. We cancelled the tender, for example, on this command and control that was supposed to spend 20 billion shillings. We can do it at 2 billion shillings. We have taken bold steps. When you hear the president of Kenya say there is corruption in the office of the president,
I will stop you at that because we have that soundbite.
Absolutely.
And I want us to play it. Let's have the soundbite of the president.
Starting with my own office here. Kuna maofisa huko ambao wanafikiria hiyo ni nyumba ya kutengeneza pesa. Na jameni, hii kitu anyway we have to bring it to an end. Na watu wajipange kwa sababu they will see something very soon. I'm telling you, that is for sure. Yeah.
Very commendable very bold.
How bold can it get?
But
how bold
does action follow?
Absolutely.
Is that empty talk? Because up to now we have not seen any heads rolling.
But you see, let me tell you, Hussein, if you have cancelled a tender that would have consumed 20 billion of Kenyan taxpayers and you have achieved the same with 2 billion shillings, isn't that bold?
It is bold.
Isn't that? You know, you should not just measure the fight against corruption by the number of people you fire.
Not at all.
That is not.
Not at all.
You can measure it by the amount of savings you make for government.
I completely agree.
If today we are buying a vehicle for the police lower than it has ever been bought in the history of Kenya, we are not paying more than an ordinary citizen. Isn't that a step forward?
That is a step forward, and I agree.
If we are subjecting purchases of guns, which have been shrouded in security for a long time, to competitive bidding, because we are telling the police, a gun, how does a gun become a mysterious equipment? I agree completely. Because it is carried by policemen in the street.
That is very bold. It's very true. It goes hand in hand, doesn't it? With all due respect to what you're doing, it goes hand in hand. Here you are telling me there is corruption, this and this is how much these things were quoted, and you've taken them down. Clearly, then it means there are people who are perpetrating that.
Yes.
So why tackle that problem and just forget about these people who are perpetrating that?
You know, the reason
is the people who do this get away with impunity, and people who are looking up to them will go on doing that, and still we won't have money for development.
They will have to wait for another government to continue doing this.
Because if the point is, if heads are not rolling, what example are you setting for other people?
But you see, you're simplifying. You're simplifying this. Our target as a Jubilee administration is to make sure that no public money is wasted or lost in corruption.
And no officer is wasting public money, isn't it?
And by the way, we have more or less, we are almost getting there. And apart from that, if you look at the budget for this year, we're going to put more money in the EACC to do three things. Number one, they themselves have offered to open their offices all over the country, in all the counties. We are upping their game by making sure that they can recruit more staff. They can use better equipment. You've just seen the chair there say they are bringing even on board people who are opening accounts, foreign accounts. So that we begin to monitor what is the performance of our public servants. How are they getting this money? And for your information, people manipulate the procurement process.
These people are the people we are asking, right? How come they are still in the government?
And you can't fault them because they follow the process. Right. But you know, a reasonable mind, which we asked, tell us, gentlemen, how come a Land Rover bought by government is more expensive than a Land Rover bought by a Kenyan, ordinary Kenyan? You know, that is really straightforward stuff, you know. And that is the direction in which we are heading as.
But
as
you I agree with what you're saying. But what you're saying also amounts to just saying that the people who do this can stay, but we'll handle them not to do the corruption.
No, but let me tell you, Hussein, those who will go beyond, you know, we've made it now possible for people to say, yes, you can buy a vehicle for the government at a lower price than a person buying from the private sector. Okay. Anybody who buys at a vehicle higher than what we know is possible, then they will have to face the sack.
Okay, we have to move fast now. Just two questions, because before I give you the chance to tell me the specific measures you've taken, specific bold measures you've taken to curb wastage. How far are you, the executive, and you, the person of William Ruto, how far are you willing to pay whatever price it is, political or otherwise, to ensure this calms down? Because you're talking of bold measures here.
All the way, because we believe strongly that unless we take some bold steps, and for your information, we have already taken very bold steps, we will be able to deliver on our mission. Okay. And if we don't deliver on our mission, we will not have succeeded in what we promised the people of Kenya. And let me tell you what we are doing. Let me just give me a minute. Because we have a mission.
The specific.
Because we have a mission. Because we have a mission to deliver on our promise. Even if you see the architecture of our budget this year, we've said we are going to invest in modernizing agriculture. We are expanding irrigation. We want to double the food production in 2 years. We want to double food production in our country. We've put money in subsidizing fertilizer. We have fertilizer in this country. We've subsidized seeds. There is available seeds across the country because there is no magic in producing food and reducing the cost of living. I have had many Kenyans ask, what are you guys doing about the cost of living?
Okay.
40% of every Kenyan's budget is food. And we are tackling that. We want to reduce the cost of food by half.
Okay.
Right? We are putting money in making sure that Kenyans or young people get jobs. How? We want to reduce the cost of production in our country by making sure that the railway is working. We have worked on a new mechanism of making sure that there are roads in the country. We are producing 3 times as much power has been produced in the last 50 years because we want to reduce the cost of power by 40%.
Right.
All that adds up into creating an environment that industry can thrive, enterprise can thrive, and these are the areas that young people can get jobs as we grow the wheels of our economy.
Specific measures, very briefly because of time, specific measures you are doing to cut wastage.
Specific measures we are doing to cut wastage. Number one, in our budget this year, we are going to reduce areas that we don't believe add any value like matters of travel. In fact, we have a serious problem with travel in Kenya. There are countries complaining that Kenyans are all over the place. we are going to cut the budget by 80% of travel. We are going to reduce matters of advertising and buying flowers and hospitality. And I have told you, we intend to raise between 25 and 30 billion Kenya shillings just by managing those areas which are, according to us, are areas of wastage. We are going to clean up our payroll. That is
get rid
our-
of ghost
to
workers.
get rid of
How
ghost
soon?
workers.
Because you've been in office 1 year. How soon?
The first thing we did was to reorganize government.
Yes.
Within this year, we will complete that process.
You're telling me by
This
December?
1 year, by December this 1 year, we will have cleaned up our payroll. Complete,
Okay.
finished.
Okay.
Yeah, we will have cleaned up our payroll.
In terms of what we're talking about, the support staff for the senior civil servants, the money they get, the allowances they get, the vehicles they
What we
use,
have done already is to freeze any employment in public service.
which again works against what you're saying in terms of creating employment, doesn't
But
it?
you see, you know, that's where you miss the point. The point is, where do you create the jobs? It is not for you to employ people in government. You create an enabling environment. You reduce the cost of production. You reduce the cost of power so that the private sector can thrive and employ people. In any case, we employ a very small fraction
percentage
of workers.
Yeah.
Most of the workers are employed by the private sector.
Fair enough. Is
And
that-
it is for us as government to spend more money in doing roads, in reducing the cost of power, in enhancing security, so that private sector can thrive and young people can get jobs.
Fair enough. Is there going to be any kind of retrenchment?
No, not that we have planned at the moment. There is no issues of retrenchment, because what we have done is to freeze any employment in government so that we can have more money to do the roads and generate electricity for the private sector to employ more people.
When was this freeze
we-
done? Because
It-
counties are still employing people. When was this?
I was talking of central government.
National
Now
government.
we are working with the governors, and we have told the governors. I had a meeting, the IBEC meeting with them, and we've said before they employ people from outside, they must advertise those positions within the people who already exist in government.
Okay.
We, however, need to go further.
Okay.
You know, we haven't done enough in that direction.
Okay, let's
Because
have
we want
a
to
look.
clean house
Right.
first.
Let's have a look at some feedback now and look at what you've been saying on Twitter using the hashtag the big question. We have at Makotani, if Jubilee is committed to reducing government wastage, how much did cabinet retreat cost taxpayers? What concrete plans does the government have to tackle corruption and also increase revenue collection? I'm sure you've tackled that.
Good. I will answer.
Why should I be paid sitting allowance for doing a job I'm paid for at the end of the month? Same thing I was asking you, because you work under a salary like everybody else gets hired to do. Who awarded the parastatal heads the huge salaries they earn? Do they pay themselves or somebody controls their payroll? And can the government tell us in figures how much they intend to save by salary cuts? What about job creation? Things that we've talked about. I'll just give you a minute to respond to that.
Well, I think those questions are good. Kenyans are seized of this matter. I am very happy this evening that really Kenyans want to discuss this topic, because it's their money, it's their business, it's our collective responsibility. And when you hear the questions being, people want numbers. You know, they want how much. We, for example, working on the payroll, we believe we are working on a figure of between 5 and 10 billion to reduce the wage bill, at least by eliminating promotions, eliminating salary increases, freezing employment. We intend to get more money for development. We are looking at the recurrent expenditure, the part of operations and O&M, you know. We have a budget there of 300 billion shillings. We want to see whether we can get at least between 10 and 15% out of there. That's about 30-40 billion shillings. To remove it from recurrent expenditure and transfer it to development expenditure. Those are figures.
Right. We have to take a break. I'm sorry, we have to take a break now. I'll just ask one question.
Yes.
Just one question. You talk of corruption.
Yes.
You talk of fighting corruption.
Yes.
Do you know, like, you agree now, currently there is corruption. Is there corruption in the government?
Oh, I would, if I said no, I wouldn't be telling the truth.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Do we have anything documented, or do you know, have you followed up to know how much we have lost, maybe the last 1 year when you're talking about the wage bill in corruption that could be used for development expenditure?
I do not have the figures with me, but what I can tell you is like the examples I have given you. Areas where we have stopped what government would have lost money, and we have redirected that money to much more productive areas.
Some of the flagship projects of the Jubilee, and that is why corruption again is an issue. We've heard about the standard gauge railway.
Correct.
Yes, it was cleared, but there were issues of corruption people talking about. Now, we've actually seen the laptop project being stopped again, and the question is actually twofold. There were issues of corruption. The minister insisted that it will go on. Now it's being stopped again. First of all, clearly you're not going to make it by the 1 year the Jubilee government pledged to bring the laptops. Clearly, have you failed? Or you have failed because you're not going to bring it within 1 year.
Is that I don't think that
if you gave a timeline?
I don't think that qualifies
you
for failure.
failed within 1 year. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that qualifies for failure. I mean, we have to follow due process. And what the oversight PPOA, what they have done is they have said Olive, according to them, does not have what it takes to deliver. But they have said the other two companies should be assessed so that they can deliver within 45 days. That is a perfect process. You know, we believe in the rule of law. We trust our institutions, and we trust what they do.
Right, but
the standard gauge railway, the president was open. He said, if you have issues, bring them to the table. There was an investigation by the Transport Committee of Parliament. Every other investigative authority is free to engage. We have had the issues. The issues did not amount to what people were
saying. Fine. On the laptops, it is your flagship project.
Correct.
It is such problems that are delaying it. It's a flagship project, isn't it? And we're talking, why I'm saying failing, you gave a timeline of 1 year.
Yes.
I'm not saying you failed completely to bring laptops. I'm saying you have failed within the 1 year you promised to bring laptops.
Maybe
one of the biggest problems there is corruption. Corruption on one of your flagship projects.
I do not, the oversight authority did not quote corruption. They said the company did not
could be problems,
have
isn't it?
the ability.
But those are things that were raised by the parliamentary
in their
committee.
assessment.
Yeah.
In their assessment that they think this company does not have.
Because it was raised by the parliamentary committee on education.
No, in fact,
it was not done. It was not done. The procurement was not done.
If you
listen
to the parliamentary committee, they were raising issues of they
can't.
No, they were.
They're not manufacturers.
In fact, but that's not one of the issues that have been raised here. What they were raising is the computer labs are not ready.
Okay.
The schools are not yet wired. You know, but we told them we have wired enough schools. We have 11,000 schools who are already on power.
Right.
We will complete the rest in this year. The Cabinet Secretary for Energy said we will get every school inside 1 year on electricity.
But he has not said he will get electricity to the homes of these people.
No, to the schools.
They're going back with the laptops at home.
To the schools. He will get electricity to the schools.
Going back
for
with the laptops home,
for your information, we have a grand plan to make sure that 80% of our homes in the next 4 years are on electricity. At the moment, 31% only of our homes have electricity. We intend to take it to between 75 and 80% in 4 years because we are generating sufficient energy.
Right. We are going to trends now. If you can please, and I'm actually with all due respect, within 15 seconds, I had to ask you this because people are asking it, just to comment about road carnage. We've seen what has happened today. About 30 people already this week have lost their lives. What is it that can be done?
It's 10 seconds, please. It is a major problem. I agree, Hussein. But we are doing something about it. If you look at the numbers, we are 28% below the road carnage last year. It tells you we are doing something about it. Some of the measures we have taken may seem unpopular. Many people thought maybe we banned night travel. We didn't ban night travel. We just said that you need to meet certain conditions for you to be allowed to operate at night. And for your information, though it was painful, it's given results. We have reduced road carnage by 28% as we talk today.
Okay. Deputy President William Ruto is still with us, and thank you so much on tackling all this.